How do you get over interview nerves? What's up guys, it's Mike from Job Ready English. Here's another video to help you pass your upcoming interview. Today we're going to be talking about a big topic, which is how to get over interview nerves. Yes, I've gotten them before, you're going to get them, everyone gets them. So we're going to talk about some tips and strategies to overcome your nerves. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We drop 3 videos a week full of helpful tips and advice to not just pass individual companies' interviews, answer questions and all tips and tricks related to getting a job wherever you may be, or if you're here in the UK. So come and join the Job Ready English family. So let's talk about how to get over interview nerves. Number 1, everybody gets nervous. Being nervous is good. I remember I had an old mentor of mine, one of the first speeches that I had ever had to do in front of a crowd of 2,000 people, and I was an absolute mess. I was so nervous about it. And he gave me some great advice, which I'd really like to share with you. He was a wonderful man. He was a management consultant, a director. He'd started a large company in North America, and he gave me some invaluable advice. And what he said to me is, number 1, nerves are good. They mean that you care. If you didn't care, then you wouldn't get nervous. I don't get nervous when I go to the shop because I genuinely don't care. I just go to the shop, buy a Mars bar, eat a Mars bar. Probably more like a Snickers, actually. I'm more of a Snickers guy. Number 2, if you want this to get better, then practice is the key. So often when people get nervous, I remember watching a video, I'm a big fan of martial arts, and watching a video about, boxers and fighters and stuff like that. They'd always say, I never sleep the night before, I always feel really nervous, but then as soon as I get into the ring, I just switch on because I trust my training. And actually that's a really common theme in a lot of athletics or physical competition disciplines, where they say it's not about what happens on the day, it's about all the training and preparation that's gone into before. Now, we released an email about this not that long ago. It said, if you've got an interview coming up, you probably want to make sure that you've slotted in at least 5 30-minute sessions. Sometimes you're able to do that, sometimes not. But the point is that you want to make sure that you've got regular, consistent practice over the course of a couple of days. So if someone was to say to me, should I do 2.5 hours in a day or 30 minutes every day for 5 days? I'd always say the 30 minutes over 5 days, because you need to prepare your interview scripts, do your research, and then start to do your run through and your practice. And the practice specifically that I'm referring to is talking out loud and trying to do that without a script. So that's really going to help with your nerves. The more prepared that you are, the more that you're able just to bring to your mind the answer that you need to deliver. It's not really that much more complicated than that. The other things to do is to make sure you get a good night's sleep, that you're as well rested as you can be. I always say to clients, make sure you have a hot bath an early night, that you relax the night before. I would say on the day of the interview, you don't really want to be doing any prep because you want to be as rested as possible. If you can and you're able to get up, I prefer getting clients to do interviews in the morning because that's when they have the as much energy as possible. It's important to recognize that the brain slowly loses energy over the day, and you're better able to make decisions and to sort of compute information as time goes on. So if you had a choice between doing an interview in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, I would always say do it in the morning when you're nice and fresh and ready. If you're going to have a physical interview, if it's a long way away, I generally tend to say if your interview is going to be further than an hour away, me personally, I always tend to say to clients, go and travel and stay there the night before. The reason is there's nothing worse than going somewhere. I can remember many years ago, I had a client who was from London, who had to go and have a partner interview with PwC in Leeds, and overnight there was an epic snow flurry. And anybody who knows the British train system knows that as soon as there's a leaf on the line, then the line gets closed and everyone's screwed. So they couldn't get up there. They had a legitimate reason for not being able to get there. And PwC were pretty blunt. They just said, you should have been on time. Like, you should have come and stayed the night before. It's not our problem that there was some snow. We're not going to reschedule it for you. So it's understanding that you can affect the things that within your control. So go and stay there the night before. If you're traveling less than an hour, then make sure you're there half an hour early, or say get there, have a cup of tea. If you can do a dry run and actually see where you're going to go, A lot of the fear comes from the fear of the unknown. So if you can do the journey beforehand, find out who you're going to get interviewed by, do a dry run. If you're doing a video interview, make sure that you're really comfortable with videoing yourself, listening to yourself, watching yourself back, timing your answers, running through your script. A lot of this stuff is pre-preparation. The reason being is when you're in the actual interview, there's not really a lot that you can do about your nerves. You know, if you've got some nervous energy or agitation, you might bounce your leg or at least keep that out of eye line. Something that I tend to find a little bit kind of difficult to manage is if somebody's doing a lot of hand gestures, a lot of movements that I can see while I'm speaking to them, because that tends to be quite distracting. We are visually orientated creatures, so if there's a lot of movement going on, I find it more difficult to understand what someone's saying and really to take in that information. So that's more of a cue to get there. The other thing to think about is be comfortable. So I'm particularly saying this to women when they get there, to guys as well, like make sure that your suit fits, make sure that your shirt is all right, that you've got all your clothes ready the night before. For the ladies, I tend to say, look, if heels really give you some trouble, then just don't wear them. Wear flats. Make sure that you're wearing stuff that is professional and looks nice, but mainly is comfortable, because you don't know how long you're going to have to sit there and wait, how long the interview is going to be, if you're going to be feeling uncomfortable. Definitely in the morning, make sure that you have something to eat. So there's something to watch out for, which I like to call HALT, which is hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. So I tend to find that making sure that you have something to eat, talking to a good friend, sharing any fears or frustrations, and making sure that you get enough sleep the night before, all of those things are things that are within your control. When you're nervous within the interview, really, you've just got to trust your training. You've got to trust your practice. If you're watching this and you're like, well, Mike, that doesn't really help me, I've got to wing it, then just do that your best that you can. And last but not least, don't put too much expectation on yourself. Having an interview is a big thing. And if you treat it like it's the only opportunity you're ever going to get, and if you mess this up, then it's going to be the end of the world, it's going to make you feel so much more anxious. So what I always say to clients when they go to interviews is just treat it like practice. Just think, look, I'm just going there to have a practice. If it goes well, great, but I just want to go there and see what I can learn about myself and about going through that interview process. So don't worry about those interview nerves. If you even use half of those tips, you're going to feel so much better for your interview. If you like this video, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel. If you want a ton more tips like these, then be sure to check out our Interview Success Secrets course down in the description below. It's jam-packed with loads and loads and loads of things, well over 100 videos, handouts, walkthrough answers. I mean, it's just got the whole lot. And it's been super helpful for everybody who's taken that course. And I wish you the best of luck. Bye.